The topic selected for this task is sustainability. The following presentation will explore sustainability as a cross-curriculum priority and how it can be implemented into a biological science unit at Grade 1 level. The unit created for the purpose of this task is The Ocean as a Living Thing. So what is sustainability? The World Summit identified 3 pillars of sustainability as economic and social development and environmental protection. The Australian curriculum explains that cross-curriculum learning is fundamental in understanding the way the 3 of these interact. However, being a science unit, the main focus will be on teaching children about environmental protection. This is because sustainability at its core looks to protect our natural environment and is the foundation from which the survival of our species depends. Students will be challenged to think critically and creatively to address this topic. This learning will have future economic and social benefits though, as progressive thinking on this topic will be valued in the students' future workforce. To understand sustainability, students must first have environmental awareness. This is where the unit The Ocean as a Living Thing aligns with the Year 1 curriculum of biological science. Science understanding is broken into 2 parts. The first involves looking at animals, identifying their features and their purposes. For this unit, they would observe fish and marine animals and could do so at an aquarium. The second is recognizing that living things live in different places where they have their needs met. To make this meaningful and relevant for students, this would involve a field trip to the local beach and rock pools to show that living things can exist on land or in water, observe their habitat and look to see for signs of pollution. The curriculum explores sustainability as the ongoing capacity of the Earth to maintain all life. Sustainable patterns of living need to meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. This is where sustainability integrates with the unit and curriculum. Students will explore what happens when the ocean habitats change and living things no longer have their needs met. Through scaffolded experiments, students will investigate cause and effect of coral bleaching. Field trip and real-life experiences combined with the use of images will show students the effects of plastic, pollution, and overfishing and its effect on the ocean habitat. This is part of the Science as a Human Endeavour curriculum, which involves observing, asking questions about, and observing changes. Inquiry learning will underpin the pedagogical approach to teaching and learning in this unit. Inquiry is the key to student engagement, so raising questions about science phenomena engages their curiosity, and hands-on activities build new zones of development and develop their curiosity. One way to engage a Year 1 class on this topic in a meaningful way would be to get a small class fish tank. The students could be asked what they think they should put into the tank with the fish. Water, some food. What about they tip their leftover paint in there or put their old lunchbox wrappers? Why don't they think that this would be a good idea? This employs the first stage of the 5 E's method to engage learners. The 5 E's is one of many models developed from an inquiry learning approach. It links closely with the Australian curriculum's substrand, Science Inquiry Skills, with questioning and predicting, planning and processing, analysing and evaluating and communicating. The POE model, Predict, Observe, Explain, another inquiry-based pedagogy, would be used for the coral bleaching experiment. This approach works best in demonstrations where the outcome is immediate and works on the science that if children make a prediction about the outcome, they will observe more closely and be more interested in the experiment. Discussions both before, during, and upon reflection of learning experiences are important, as it allows teachers to assess learning outcomes, develop students' knowledge, and provide the opportunity for them to model science language. Throughout the questioning stages, Bloom's taxonomy can be used to link effective questioning to knowledge development and can give insight to assess what is deep and surface level learning. The Australian government has noticed a generational gap in learning outcomes achieved between Indigenous and non-Indigenous students. It is therefore a goal set by the Melbourne Declaration to close the gap, and this is reflected by embedding Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and cultures into the curriculum. Indigenous science incorporates traditional knowledge of Indigenous perspectives. Non-Indigenous scientific approaches are recognised as Western science. Together they contribute substantially to modern science, which greatly complements one another. Australian Aboriginals are the oldest living population in the world, occupying the land for 40 to 60,000 years and have done so without destroying natural resources. This is in contrast to the Europeans who in a few hundred years have profoundly altered most of the continent, creating many ecological disasters, the most relatable to this unit being coastal pollution and overfishing. This is why the fusion of Indigenous and non-Indigenous approaches is not only effective and respectful to Indigenous people, but also very necessary in moving forward. This is why it will be explored throughout the unit. Indigenous perspectives are founded on the utmost respect for nature, which is why they are invaluable when looking at sustainability. A key concept to highlight is the special connection Indigenous people have to their country and place. Torres Strait Islander people have a particular connection to the oceans and marine life. They have developed knowledge about the world through observation using all of the senses. Their ancient methods of turtle tracking are now being used by marine biologists, which is a great example of how traditional and Western knowledge can come together. The 8 Ways of Knowing is a framework of Aboriginal pedagogy. This is a holistic approach that is much needed in science classrooms when tackling modern issues like sustainability, where it needs to be addressed from a range of connecting perspectives. While Asia can provide lots of useful technologies, engagement in this priority is not yet in the Year 1 curriculum. By engaging in the other 2 cross-curricular priorities, students can learn about Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders' long-standing traditions, knowledge and particularly way of life and fishing practices, and combine them with contemporary science to find solutions that relate to the concept that sustainability requires the ongoing capacity to maintain all life.